I did not expect this, but Base44 added full support for NPM packages and opened up their integration system for everybody. So we obviously built a Despia integration for Base44 that's still being approved, so we'll see how that goes, but you can already use it with this share link that I'll put down in the video here. So let me show you how you can use this and how you can use this to build MVP mobile applications in Base44. Now, my opinion about Base44 did not change. I still think it's only for MVPs, but if an MVP or an internal tool is what you're interested, Despia may be able to get you across the finish line for a 20th of the price of what competitors are charging. So let's take a look at how we can set this up. So if you click on this uses integration, you will see that this integration here, Despia native, is being added into Base44. And we can now select our AI model, like I like Gemini 3 Pro, and let's say make an app, a mobile app. There you go, and I'm going to send this. Now, Base44 handles some of the login features and all of that for us, which is convenient, but you need to keep in mind that there are some limitations in using Base44 in addition with Despia because of certain things that their system does not yet allow you to edit. One of those is the login system. So can we take a look at this already? I don't think we can take a look at it already, so we'll look into this a little bit later, but there are limitations in what login providers you can use if you're using Base44 that I want to, bring to your attention. So now, as you can see, we need to approve this NPM package, so let's approve this. This is now going to install the Despia native NPM package, so it's now installing it and hopefully being successful in analyzing it. And we'll see, no, we can't still look at the dashboard, so we'll just wait a little bit till this is all set up here. So now it's thinking, it's now setting all of this up, and then we'll be able to get this, we'll get this going. Now it's reading the files, installing the NPM package, working on all that stuff, package installation pending, please approve the NPM package in the chat to continue. We already did that. For some reason, those icons are flashing, so we'll see what's going on with them. But maybe we need to... No, we're already good. We're already good here. Let's go back. So I think it did not work at all, building it. I mean, I am opinionated about Base44. I would not use it for a production application, and there are reasons for that, but again, I know that there are a lot of people who use Despia who like Base44, so we added this integration to make it easier for them. Now, is it the best tool in my opinion? Absolutely not, but I don't think my opinion matters in this. I think what matters is what you think about Base44 and if it's a tool that helps you move forward. So let's try again. Let's just tell the AI to try again here. Again, I'm not trying to make Base44 sound better than it is. There's certainly going to be limitations with their platform, but now there are less limitations because of the Despia integration that we have and the NPM support. Now, login still going to be interesting to set up because they just do so much abstraction for you, and you can't really intercept the login systems to then add native OAuth and all that kind of stuff. So you won't be able to have login with Google, you won't be able to have login with Instagram or login with Facebook or login with Microsoft in your mobile application. It will not work. You need to disable those. So if this is a deal breaker for you, you will not be able to use Despia with Base44, and this applies to all other tools that look like Despia. Now, I saw some of them telling you, oh, you can use Base44, it's so simple. They even advertised this before there was this NPM support, and they also had NPM packages, which I think is not a nice thing because you're going to get people using it and then they're going to get stuck with it and then they just wasted their money to build a mobile app that is useless to them, right? So this is why we're making this video, starting a little bit encouragement. I wouldn't call this full encouragement. It's a little bit encouragement that you can build mobile apps with Base44. I still want you as a developer, this is my personal opinion, to understand that Base44 is going to be a limited platform. It's very new. Everything new is going to be limited. Wix bought them, so they're there are going to be improvements such as the NPM support they added, but don't expect it to be the best tool today. It may be the best tool tomorrow, or the best tool in a week, or the best tool in a year, but it's not quite there yet. And if you compare it where it is today, there are better alternatives that you can get today for lower prices. I want to be upfront and honest with you about this. But with that being said, you can now build mobile applications in it with the Despia integration. So as you can see, I built an entire mobile application, and it's following the Despia best practices. As you can see, I'll set up a mobile-first Nodes application using the Despia native structure, including all the required layouts with safe areas, navigation, and node management. So now it's implementing all those native features that are needed for this, and this can take a little bit, so we'll make a cut and we'll be back in a second. So now we built this application here, and we can also go into the mobile mode to preview how this will look in the mobile version, which it looks really nice, I have to say. So very cool here. We can delete those and do all that kind of stuff. So now there are a few things that we need to do. We need to go to the dashboard here, and we need to go to Settings, Authentication, and we need to disable Login with Google because it will not work on the mobile app. There are other tools that tell you it's very simple, you can set it up, it will work. And then they will tell you to use universal links on iOS to bypass some of the limitations inherited by Base44 not letting you intercept the authentication session. But I have to be honest with you, I will tell you that you can try that. It will work great on your phone, it will work great on test flight, but you will get a rejection by Apple. You can get it on the Android store, that's fine, Android doesn't care about those things, but Apple will not allow it. And the only way you really get it is by going to the Board of Appeals and really going on their nerves till they let you on there. If you want to have login with Google. Now we're looking into alternatives and options to get a possible future integration that can make this possible. We're trying to find some magical ways for Base44 users all the time to make this better, such as for every other user of Despia. But as of right now, there is going to be this limitation that those social login providers won't work in Despia. So if that's a deal breaker to you, I apologize for that. It will work on Android, but it won't work on iOS. While it technically can work, it'll be rejected, so leave it out because you don't want a rejection. There you go. So now this is all set up here, and now we can also integrate native features. So I can go into discuss mode, and I can say, what native features, and this is the integration now, the Despia integration, make sense adding that Despia supports. Let's take a look at this, because you do need native features to get it approved by the store, because if you're building an application without native features, you will not meet the minimum functionality requirements by the stores. So you do have to add native features. They are required. You can pick which ones you want to use, but you can't just use Despia, for example, as a vehicle to get your application into the store. You need to add native features. That's the whole idea about giving you access to all those settings in Despia. And then we'll take this link from Base44 and we'll dump it in here. Now, there is much more setup needed. You have to register the bundle IDs. You have to link it with your developer account. You need to pay $99 a year for a developer account. You need to pay $25 a year for a Google developer account and $99 for an iOS Apple developer account. There are costs tied to that. Despia itself is also not free. It will cost money. It's a one-time fee, but it will still cost money. So if you're looking for a simple, cheap way to get a Base44 application just through the back door into both of the stores, this video is probably not right for you. But if you are trying to build an application that's going to be more of a long-term thing, you want to start with Base44 because it's easy for you to get started with, but ultimately your goal is to move to Lovable, to move to Cursor, to move to Bolt, to move to something else. Despia is going to be right for you because moving is as simple as changing the link that you put into Despia. So with Despia, that's the beautiful thing. You can start with Base44 and then you can go to Lovable. And and then you can go to Cursor and you can work yourself up, right? We have all those developer-focused tools. We have an MCP that really makes development and all the other tools super simple for Cursor, VS Code, Windsurf, Cloud Code, all that kind of stuff. So you're not stuck with a tool. You can always level up. That's the nice thing about Despia. I would not consider Base44 as a long-term solution, and I said that multiple times, and I will keep saying this multiple times. It is a temporary solution, great for an MVP, but nothing beyond that. So let's say I want Face ID and only allow me to see my nodes if it was successful. Also, if it was successful, also add haptic feedback. And what else? Sharing feature. Sharing feature. There you go. And sharing feature with other applications. And local push notifications as an example here. What else? Local push, biometric authentication. I think that's it. Let's go into build mode and let's send this to Base44 for our MVP application. Now, this will take a little bit. I'm going to make a cut and then we'll take a look at how this looks once it's done. So now, as you can see, this is, or it should be implemented. I don't know if it is implemented. But we'll see, because it does work on the web version, but maybe it's because it set it up specifically with the user agent to unlock nodes, haptic feedback, sharing functionality, and local notifications for reminders. Let's see if this actually works. Let's do remind. Remind set for 5 seconds. Okay, it's kind of like okay, this looks nice. This looks nice. Okay, so now let's publish this application here. I just published the app, and the nice thing is with Despia in combination with Base44, as everything else, you can make the change in Base44 and you have over-the-air updates. So you can make the change in Base44 and it's updated immediately inside of Despia. You don't have to wait 10 days for the store to approve critical changes to your application. Now, you're just going to take the main URL here, that would be this one. So you just copy this URL and you go into Despia and you paste this here under the dynamic app source. Paste this in here and then you're good. And now again, you need to upload your app icon. You need to make sure it's set up correctly. You need to go to publish app. You need to register all your bundle IDs. Expect some work with this. This will take you 2 hours to set up. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be rather simple, but it's not going to be like AI do it for me. Like there's effort. Building a mobile application and publishing it to the store does require effort. It does require you to sit down for a day and to really look into it. And there are going to be build failures possibly where you forgot to register a bundle ID and you need to look into it and then figure out, oh, I forgot this bundle ID, let me link this. We do have videos about all of that, but I don't want you to assume that building a mobile application, even though it sounds easy, is easy. It's not easy. It's a process. You will then also have to deal with app review, and they may say, we want you to change this in your application, and you have to go back into Base44 and add your privacy policy and all that kind of stuff. It's not smooth sailing, and there are certain things that Base44 is limiting you at. For example, with the login screen. Now, there are less limitations than a few days ago, because now they do support NPM packages, which allows you to officially use Despia in it. That's why we are making this video. But again, I don't think it's a permanent solution. It's a temporary solution at best for an MVP. And I can't emphasize this enough because I don't want you to get a wrong impression, to have wrong expectations towards the work that Despia can do for your application. It is simpler than building it in Xcode, but it is not super easy. It's not like you have an AI agent setting up everything for you. You do need to copy some IDs and paste them over across a couple of tabs, and you have to watch some videos that are 1 to 2 hours, and you have to really want to understand it and set it up. And then we're still here to help you. You can always ask the customer support chat, but I don't want to give you a wrong expectation of how this process will be, like all the other tools. I'm seeing all those blog posts, Base44 to mobile app. It's so simple, never been easier. You don't need to know anything. You don't even need to want to learn anything. There's so many people spreading those false narratives. It's not true. Building mobile application takes effort. You need to invest time into it. If you don't have the time to invest, or you're not willing to invest the time and learn a little bit, it's not complicated, but you have to be willing to learn. If you're not willing to do that, it's probably better you just stick with a PWA and don't go into the App Store. Possibly go into the Android store. They're not that picky. They just let in everything. I do have a fun story. There was one user who said, I accidentally shipped my shitty application to the store and it got approved with Android. I did not expect this to happen. What do I do now? I was like, this would not happen with Apple. So Android is open to all kinds of stuff, but I want to be like upfront with you. I don't want to give you false expectations like all the other tools are doing, because that's part of their marketing. We would love to get you as a user, but we also want you to be a happy user, right? So with that being said, it's all set up here already. So I'm just going to publish my application. I already jumped through all the hoops and loops. So this video looks rather simple, which again, it does require an effort to be put in. It's not smooth sailing all the time. And now it's building the application for you in Xcode on a physical Apple computer. So you don't need to have an Apple computer. We have them for you. And it's now building and doing the code signing for you, which is doing a lot of the work for you. And it's a lot of the work that people would be stuck. While it's not fully hands-off, it's like 90% automated. So it is rather simple. And I would say it's one of the simplest way to build applications. But again, it's not 100% automated like some of the other AI tools may want to make you think it is. So we have the application in here. We disabled login with Google. The application is now building. So we're good with that. Just for your internal reference, you can always go to npm.despia.com, where you will find all the documentation inside of here for every tool that supports the NPM package. So you can use this in Base44, but you can also look for any tools supporting NPM packages that are AI builders. So if you do NPM AI builder on Google, you will find all the AI builders that have NPM support. You can specify your search a little bit, but just so that you know, everything that has an NPM support that can import NPM packages, you can use Despia in. It can be Replit, Bolt, Base44 now since today, Lovable, anything. Now, also be mindful of how custom they let you do login procedures, because I'm not a fan of the sign-in procedure from Base44, to be completely honest with you. I think it's too much latency. I would love people to have access to my application without logging in, hitting a paywall immediately, converting them, tying that to the user ID, and then after that having them log in. You can't really do this kind of custom stuff in Base44. You got to go to Lovable. You got to go to Cursor. You got to go to Bolt for that. Or Replit possibly. So just be mindful of that. You're going to have not too well of a conversion rate for a consumer-facing product by using Base44. But again, when you're evaluating an idea, an MVP, maybe it's not too important to you. So this is just my wholehearted, honest opinion on this whole situation. We do have the integration. Is it my favorite integration? Not really, but I do think it will help many users get started and get their foot into the development game, but it is not a long-term solution. So I already mentioned this plenty of times. I think I'm covered. We'll wait till this finishes and then we'll test the application. So now, as you can see, the application is now on test flight, and you can also get it on Android beta if that's what you want to use. So we can now open the application and we'll be able to test it out. Now, what I don't like about Base44 is their loading screen has two separate loaders, because it kind of like does a full page redirect, and the routing of the single page application on a technical level is not happening for the login pages, which kind of like makes it a little bit slow for the initial load, but I think we're good. This is fine for an MVP. Now, we can do login with Google or any social login, so the only thing we'll be able to do is login with email as of right now. If we find a solution, we'll implement a solution, we'll make a video about it, but if you don't see a video about that yet, we are still working on exploring the options in getting this going. So now inside of here, let me log in for hey@Despia.com. Actually, I need to sign up. So let's go to hey@Despia.com. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Let's create our account. Now I need to verify with my email, which is, to say the least, interesting. I gotta do a cut here to open my email real quick. So now I got my email. One thing that I don't fully like about Base44 apps, which really makes them prototypes in my opinion, is the emails come from Base44. Now you can possibly change that, but the branding already is like it all looks the same, right? So let's do this. So, and the nice thing is it automatically links with the mail, so I can just autofill it, but the autofill in Base44 doesn't work because they have some funky way of handling the HTTP events. Normally in Despia it works perfectly, so we'll do this here, but it always depends on how the JavaScript is set up in the HTML to handle those things. But let's close this one here, and now as you can see, now we got the native functionalities that Despia is providing. Do you want to allow my app to use Face ID? Yes, and now it scans my face. Look at this. So now we have native Face ID functionality here, and we can do a reminder, and you see we have the native alerts here, the liquid glass ones, a reminder set. I can do the share. You see how we do the native share functionality now in our application? How cool is that? Isn't this cool, right? You can go back here. We're doing another Face ID, and we see that this is in the native application. And as you can see, we do have native push notifications going on here in our application, sent from Base44. Now, again, this is going to be an MVP. I want to be very clear about this, that this will be an MVP application. You want to find a different solution as your needs grow and as your application gets more complex. But thanks to the new integration and the NPM package, it is technically possible in Base44. Now, technically possible doesn't mean the best way to do it. In my personal opinion, Lovable is way better, Bolt is way better, Cursor is number one, but if you are married to Base44 and you like using Base44 because right now it makes sense for you and you're still new to this, I can see how this is great to get people into the door, and I would treat it not as a production-ready application, but as a very valuable learning lesson. Going to school and learning about programming is probably more expensive than subscribing to Base44, so I do think it's great if you're trying to teach yourself development and building applications. I think it's great for that, and you can now teach yourself building mobile applications, get your MVP out there. But ultimately, in my personal opinion, look into Lovable long-term, and long-term, the ultimate long-term, should always be Cursor or VS Code or Cloud Code. That's just my humble opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Put your opinion down in the comments below. And I hope that I managed this video with respect, but also with caution, so you are aware of some of the limitations. If you feel like I overstepped the boundary in certain parts, please let me know in the comments down below so I can improve in the next video I'll make about this topic. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that, and I wish you a blessed day. Take care.